As we move into this phase, this is your time and your turn to speak. But I also want to let you know that we have about an hour and 15 minutes remaining of the allotted time. And I have approximately an hour and 15 minutes worth of questions. And I know that you all want the mayor to respond to that, so I'm going to repeat. While you have 2 minutes, you do not have to take the full 2 minutes, and that would allow more people to offer their suggestions and recommendation. We're going to ask our runners to come out front. And the first speaker is going to be Ms. Elise Walker, and she will be followed by Tim Garrett, who will be followed by Kimball Shafly. Ms. Walker, over here. And I think Ms. Walker has a sewage and water board issue.
Yes, I do. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Councilwoman, and dignitaries from the City of New Orleans, and my fellow citizens. The Sewage and Water Board and the Public Works seem to not be connected. And I'm interested in developing and having the city develop a connection, a liaison between the two, because when you call for needed items, you get the Sewage and Water Board who tells you, oh, that's not us, that's Public Works. And when you call Public Works, you get, oh, that's not us, that's Sewage and Water Board. And the problem is a combined problem. We have an 8-inch deep and a 6-inch high place in the middle of Elba Street. And we have been trying since Katrina and a little before it got this bad. And somebody will come and do a dye test and they say, well, we're Sewage and Water Board. And then somebody else will come and do a dye test and they say, well, we're Public Works. But they don't talk to each other. Apparently, and according to their own employees, they don't coordinate their reports. So can we please get something done about that? Thank you.
Okay, Tim Garrett, who has a question about a comprehensive 311 system. Tim Garrett.
I can totally see why you put my question right after hers. She basically said it all, and I'd like to expand a little bit by asking, when is 311 going to work? Because I feel like you could lump this in the category of broken machinery. 311 does not appear to work the way we need it to. Namely, when you call, have it be a consistent experience. I mean, you're calling to report that pothole, that street light that's out. It seems like you never get the same question twice. Sometimes they want your phone number. Sometimes you say, I want to report a pothole. They stick you with the traffic department, which doesn't know what you're talking about. We just need to get that consistent and get it fast. Thank you.
Thank you. And Kimball Shafly is next, followed by Janet Hayes. Both of them seem to have some questions centered around the bio district and the hospital area. Kimball?
Hello, thank you very much. My name is Kimball Schlafly. I live in Mid-City, and I would like to know how much of the monies the City of New Orleans are going to dedicate to the biosciences or bio district New Orleans, and how does that fit in the bigger equation of medical development in New Orleans?
Okay. Janet Hayes, followed by Mary Shelley, who has a funding question. Janet Hayes, followed by Mary Shelley.
Hi, I'm Janet. Yeah, my question is also regarding the medical corridor, and I know, Mayor Landry, you've always said the medical corridor, meaning the new UMC hospital and VA hospital and the bio district together, and I think that there needs to be a distinction made between those two and how big the area actually is. The 1,500 acres of bio district includes the 70 acres where the new hospitals are proposed to be. And I'm wondering, budgetarily speaking, the power line, the 230 kV power line that's supposed to be moved off of the UMC footprint or around the perimeter on that 9 blocks, is the city going to pay for that, or is the state going to pay for that? Because I don't want to see city budgetary money going to pay for, this will cost millions and millions of dollars. I don't know how many millions, but it's not easy to do that work. And I also want to see vacant buildings used downtown still for reusing Charity Hospital, the existing building, for the new UMC hospital, make it a smaller hospital so that we don't saturate the market with beds and take market share away from Methodist East Hospital and rebuilding a full hospital down there. And I'd also like to see the VA reused in some form, maybe for biomedical use. But I think if we can shift everything back downtown, and the market the way that it is right now is not exactly rocking. There's not a lot of money going around, and biotech isn't exactly the most profitable industry to be getting into right now, according to the markets.
Thank you. Ms. Shelley is going to be followed by Frank Cole. Frank Cole has a question centered around citizen-friendly of city employees.
Good evening. My name is Mary Coleman Shelley. I attend Central City EOC Senior Center, located at 2101 Phillips Street. Its director, Mrs. Priscilla Edwards, associate, Ms. Diane Hargrove Robertson, and supervisor, Mrs. Lori Johnson. I come scripted because before I ask my question, I would like to put forth some statements. To the panel, Honorable Mayor Mitchell Landrieu, Councilwoman Stacy Head, members of the city committees, and other city officials in this body. Our plea is for funding, support, and attention as seniors. We have worked, giving of our time, our talent, and our treasure. We still pay taxes, city, state, and federal. We are also proud and loyal voters. Again, we are proud and loyal voters. I bring greetings on behalf of the seniors of Central City. Our senior center is our pill of preventive medicine for our mind, our body, and our spirit. When considering, we ask the committees, when considering anything in your budget, please think about our segment of the population. We deserve a certain quality of life without the thought of us being asked for a handout. We come humbly before you, asking for sufficient funding and genuine support for our cause in maintaining our senior centers. We need money to keep our centers open. We do not need a closed center. We need you to consider it in your 2012 budget. We have been engaged with the city and have been given encouraging signs of assistance. There is no balance in this world without we, the seniors. We are still carrying the torch. We are alive and we are vibrant. Most reasonable people rely on us for wisdom. So we ask you the question, can we rely on you? Remember, seniors care too. Again, can we rely on you?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Frank Cole, followed by Lady D-Day.
Hi, my name is Frank Cole. I'm a resident of Lower Garden District. My question is actually more of a general question about City Hall. With the recent hiring freezes and cutbacks on staffing levels at City Hall, how do you envision making the departments more open and friendly to the citizenry if they're not open during regular business hours? There are some that you have to actually have appointments to set appointments up to see people instead of just calling in and going down there at regular hours.
And Sonia Dede is going to be followed by Theophilus Moore, Voices of Experience, who has a question about the Rosenwald Center.
Good evening. Greetings to our Honorable Mayor, Mitch Landrieu, Honorable Stacy Head, our District Council person. For those of you who know me, I am Sonia Lady Diaz, and those who do not, I am Lady Diaz, and I feel quite honored to be here in the midst, welcoming the seniors of Central City. All law enforcement that's here, I'm quite impressed. And that's one of the issues that I'm here for today. Law enforcement. Our law enforcement has worked extremely hard to keep our environment safe and our neighborhood safe. But we're lacking on one position. We need to add to their fight. When you see crime in the neighborhood, pick up the phone. Protect your neighbor's home. Protect your neighbor's home. We have a season here that is of the utmost importance. That's hurricane season. We have to know what our evacuation plan is and how we plan to get out of this city in case we have another disaster as we have had and seen before. And to be in short, because so many people have so many concerns, I want to say again to the dignitaries, especially our President, Mr. Falco, for being here, who I'm so quite impressed with how he has put forward a tremendous fight to keep the city in line, the budget in line, and work with the dignitaries that we have put in place to support us and to serve us. But service goes beyond just our vote. Service starts with good, faithful, honest leadership.
30 seconds.
Thank you once again for allowing me to pass my opinion, but I ask all these good citizens here, help our law enforcement continue to fight crime in our neighborhood who work so hard but yet so far underpaid. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia Lady D-Day. Theophilus Moore, Rosenwald Center, followed by probably Nick Kendall. Want to make a public comment from the Ferret Street neighborhood.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Theophilus Moore. My concern was about Rosenwald Center. I see that as being rebuilt, but about the B.W. Cooper being rebuilt, and Chester being torn down, Voice of Experience, the organization gradually started in the community so we could try to, help our youngsters, develop, to be better citizens now. We would like to be, I see us coming up, we would like to be at the table so we could be part of the, strategy of making Rosenwald be what it can be, with best practices that the foundation is putting together now. We would like to be part of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nick Kendall up next, followed by, I'm not sure if Troy and Lynn Robertson wanted to make a comment or not. If so, you're next, followed by Ronald McCoy.
Hello, my name is Nick Kendall. I live at 1936 Jenner Street. First, thank you very much for having these meetings. It's great to get public input on the budget, but I would encourage the city to keep doing more. On July 22nd, all the different departments submitted their budget offers. I think it would be great if those offers were made public so people can review them, see what each department's asking for, and make specific comments about those budget offers. Also, I didn't really see much information on the website about the 2012 budget. I saw a lot of stuff from last year, but if we could have more information on the 2012 budget process, what the timelines are, the stages where people can provide input, that would be very useful to the citizens. Now for some actual, comments about specific budget items. I really want the city to fully fund the neighborhood participation program process. So last year, City Council allocated $60,000 for this process, but that was taken away by the CAO's office due to the budget constraints. So I really want to see that process fully funded through the Neighborhood Engagement Office and the City Planning Commission. Also, just generally on the budget, 58% of the budget was spent on public safety. That's a very large percent, and I'm not really sure if we're getting that kind of return on investment that we need. Conversely, only 1% was spent on innovation and 2% on children and families. So I think those parts of the budget really need more funding. All right, thank you.
Okay, Troy Lynn Robinson, followed by Ronald McCoy, who will be followed by Gloria Preston, Luke's House.
Good evening. My name is Ronald McCoy of Safe Street Strong Community, and I'm here today to talk about equity. I'm talking about equity, talking about the millions of dollars that is given to the DA's office that figure that he can arrest the city out of these problems. And at the same time, we're talking about the $750,000 that the public defender's office get. The same people that here to defend the people that we're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. But $750,000 for the public defender's office, but compared to millions and millions that the district attorney's office get. So what is this saying? This is 600. You know, so what is this? What kind of equity is this? You know, and then at the same time, we talk about the police department that gets so many millions of dollars. So many millions of dollars. And like the wrong things that's going on in the police department right now today. Look at all of the money that the mayor's chief. He promoted 16 officers who was part of this culture already and promoted them as such big ways. And at the same time, the independent police monitor is underfunded. The same people I'm talking about to help the citizen are being underfunded, but the people that's here to arrest and depress the people are being overfunded. Thank you.
Thank you. Gloria Preston with looking for a zoning change, which is probably a question more for the council lady, for a free clinic, some type of free clinic.
Hello, everybody. I'm Gloria Preston, and I'm a part of the Luke's House Clinic. We're a clinic that's free, and we're open to everybody here in the city that have insurance, don't have insurance. But the problem is, we have a house here in Central City that we need zoning for. We're with People's United Methodist Church, and the house is right near there at 2023 Simon Bolivar. So if we could possibly get some help with that zoning, then our clinic can open. Because right now, we have a building, but we're unable to bring the clinic to the building. The clinic at this point is at the church on Louisiana Avenue, Mount Zion United Methodist. But we have to go in and out of boxes and break the clinic down. So we're asking for a zoning change, and we're asking for help. And if anybody that's in the city would like to help us, we have a website, and we would appreciate any help we could get.
Thank you. Yvette Thierney, who has a question about the criminal sheriff office, the per diem that's paid. And Yvette will be followed by Peggy Simmons, who's looking for some help on getting some street lights up, I think, or street signs.
Thank you. Good evening. First of all, I would like to ask the City of New Orleans to support our pretrial services. To our understanding, the current grant from the Department of Justice runs out next summer. This must be included in the city budget next year. This is a standard service for all mature criminal justice systems. All defendants should be assessed of their risks of flight and public safety, and then have their cases determined, and recommendations should be given to the judge, the prosecutors, and the public defender's office. And also, we're asking the city to abolish the per diems given to the criminal sheriff per inmate per day in Orleans Parish Prison. There's no need for a per diem to be given to this department. There are no obstacles in doing so. This issue has been discussed with the Mayor's Criminal Justice Working Group, and all the members of that group were in agreement with this. The city needs to have the political will to stand up and make a decision. We have the largest incarceration rate in the country, and our city still has the highest homicide rate in the country. Incarceration isn't solving our problems. Thank you.
Peggy Simmons, street signs, followed by Dr. Joel, I cannot make out the last name, on Chestnut Street, who has a question about the city's health department. Peggy Simmons.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Stacy, for having this meeting. I think it's very important for all citizens to speak their minds. And my question is, why after 5 years we still don't have street signs? There are streets that I have driven for 50 years in this city, and I still don't see a street sign. And it's very important for the police department, the fire department. They may be familiar with the streets, but a lot of tourists come here and they don't know what street they're on. There are many, many streets who have missing street signs. And I don't know what that's budgeted in your budget, but I really do think it's important, especially when you're giving directions to relatives and friends who come to New Orleans and you say, turn on Britannia Street. There's no sign on that part of Britannia Street. So I really think this is very important for tourism, for our city, for our visitors, for our relatives, and for our residents to have proper signage on our streets. I thank you very much, and I hope that by next year we won't have to bring this up again. Thank you.
Thank you. And Dr. Joel, I'm going to ask that he pronounces his last name. It's going to be followed by Richard Dimitri. Nitskin? Nitskin.
I'm Dr. Joel Nitskin, a resident of District B and a public health physician, and I have some comments and questions regarding the future of the city health department. Very recently, the largest single program of the city health department, this primary care clinics, was transitioned to other providers. I congratulate the city on this decision. The clinics, while always well-intended, were in some respects badly managed and probably should have been transitioned to other providers a decade ago. Now, having said that and created a situation, my understanding is that Dr. DeSalvo, who's the current city health director, has taken the position only on an interim basis, leaving an open question as to the future of the city health department and its future role. As I see it, there are remarkable opportunities for short-term gains in the city in terms of the health of the people of the city, in terms of primary care and public health needs. There are major issues having to do with the development biosciences center, whereas in terms of economic development, it is unquestionably going to be of major benefit. But whether or not it's managed in a way that will actually improve the health of the people of New Orleans, especially those dependent on safety net services, is very much open to question. So what I would like to know is, what does the city see as the future role of the city health department, the future leadership of the city health department, and the degree to which it's willing to advocate on behalf of the people of the city and the ongoing development of this biosciences center. By way of personal note, I have to note that I was an applicant for the position of city health directorship, and the position that was occupied by Dr. DeSalvo. I don't know if the city will be looking for another physician health director or has decided with no primary care clinics you want to go to a lay directorship. And I'd also like to know whether or not I may want to consider resubmitting my name for consideration if there is a major leadership role to be played.
Okay, Doctor will be followed by Richard Dimitri and then Lionel King.
You can resign tonight. Thank you, Joe. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
The prior administration, the city attorney's office didn't do too well. I hate to say it, but it appears that the city attorney's office under the current administration also isn't doing too well. And I can only say that the examples I've seen are the results of things that's happened at the Blight Stat meetings where people say files are missing, we don't know what's going on, we don't know what happened in these cases, liens are canceled for reasons that are unexplainable, and on and on and on. Today I was in court and a federal judge was very, very condemnational of what the city did with the approval of the city attorney's office, and I won't go into that on this forum. But it was a tort that was very compensable. So I think that you need to look at your city attorney's office. We'd like to know what the budget is and how many attorneys you have to figure out whether it's doing its job.
Thank you, Mr. Dimitri. Lionel King, who will be followed by Michelle Kimball with a different term, I think, project permitting. Is Lionel King? Okay. Michelle Kimball.
Michelle Kimball with the Preservation Resource Center, and I'm a resident of the Irish Channel. My concern is with the permitting process and having proper staffing for the permitting process. I feel that it's absolutely critical that we have full funding for the City Planning Commission, the Department of Safety and Permits, and the Historic District Landmarks Commission, because it's these permits, these projects that keep our economy running and lead to sustainable communities. Thank you.
Okay. Mrs. Jan Ferrara, perhaps, Fannie McKnight, and then Mr. Andrew Brock. Jan Farina, Fannie McKnight.
Where's Miss Fanny?
Camp Street. I know Fannie McKnight. I see her in the back.
Okay, this lady's not. See Fanny in 30 years. Whose turn is it?
Fannie McKnight.
Fanny. She's right there. Miss Fanny, come
Dead
up here.
center, dead center.
You want to go first?
My name is Fannie McKnight. Hi, Mr. Mayor. How y'all doing? I know y'all know me. I'm an activist, and y'all know that. I just come here because my organization already had done spoke. But I just want to come make a comment or either statement, whatever. I know the budget had been fixed. Y'all done said as a team and got it together. Y'all was making these motions at the meetings. Y'all already knew where the money going with. The mayor will keep saying you don't have that much money. The reason why what I'm saying, our organization was set at the table many times with the, but no. We asked some questions, we asked to put something in there to benefit for the whole community. We asked for involvement in the community, senior citizens. We asked for young people to be on this community. We talk about our young people. We talk about our senior citizens. Voting is coming up. Mr. Mayor, we need to come back for the second time. Don't play games with us. We want you to do the right thing with this money. We are ready to fight and fight. I know y'all put the budget together, and y'all will figure out what y'all gonna do with it. I know y'all gonna give me some piece of scrap of it. But I'm here to tell you, go back to that budget. Take out some of the stuff you put in. I understand by your twin situation. We got the movie industry here. They bring a lot of money to this city. So please, we are the poorest of the poorest. We get out there like the mayor say. I am a senior citizen, and I do vote and I get my people to vote. Y'all want them vote. Mr. Mayor, go back to the table. Throw some of that out you put in and put the right thing in. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McKnight. Andrew Brock is not. Okay, there you go. It's followed by Lily Gardner, I think it is.
Hello, my name is... Can you all hear me? Good, there we go. My name is Andrew Brott. I'm a resident of the Ferret community, and I would like to thank very much to have, that we're doing all this. My comment deals, I think, more or less with the inequities that we find not only socially, but also in property value assessments, and the inequities that I see within the city administration with the hiring of more staff to instead of actually addressing some of the problems in terms of getting results. So as we're talking about budgeting for results, I'm asking the administration to maybe listen to the community a little bit more as to what is going on, i.e. this is a good start, but I'm also asking to take suggestions such as, when we just built a brand new property, I go and I'm get assessed at the value that it was cost for me to do it. Now I know that we have a new assessor that is in office, Mr. Williams, and his role is to correctly assess the properties as such. But when you go and you look on the property assessment database and you realize your neighbors are only paying 1/3 of what they should be paying, that's not fair. And we as a community have suggestions as to how to fix this. We as a community have ideas as to whether or not we want to have our money going to one direction or another, but we as communities also have ideas as to how the city can generate more revenue. And if we as the community can come to you with these ideas and you can begin to implement them through your new staff and everything else, I think it would work to all of our advantage to be able to have the money for a senior center, the money to help with public defenders, the money to help to do all the things that we would like to do. So I think it's very important to continue with these discussions, but I think it's also very important for you to listen to how we have ideas to generate revenue. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Lilly will be followed by Kelly on Ferret Street. Kelly on Ferret Street. Ms. Lilly?
Hello. My name is Lily LaGardier, and I live in Mid-City, and I work with the Mid-City Neighborhood Organization. It has been amazing to see New Orleans recover, and it has recovered mostly because we have incredible neighborhoods that, through their own resilience, have pulled themselves together. They've made the most of resources coming in from federal, state, and local sources, nonprofit sources, but they've also done it based on their own will to survive and continue into the future as neighborhoods. In my neighborhood, we have seen unbelievable investment come to us in terms of tax credits for affordable housing, which is a neighborhood we absolutely embrace as a source of stability going forward. We had wonderful experience with the Historic Building Recovery Grant Program, which Mayor Landrieu, then Lieutenant Governor Landrieu, oversaw, infused a whole lot of recovery into our neighborhood. And we just saw this morning the announcement of a mitigation program to offset the loss of architecture from the loss of buildings at the LSU and VA sites. Again, to shore up the buildings that we all recognize as part of the identity of Mid-City. We see predictability and we see some sort of stability in the rebuilding of Mid-City as the key to our ability to move forward. But to do that, we desperately need a commitment from this administration that code enforcement will be fully staffed. We do not have enough inspectors in
30
the city.
seconds.
And as a result, we see people coming in and doing ludicrous things to buildings that undermine the quality of life of other people who want to live there. Mostly these are absentee property owners. And finally, we have been fast-tracked for historic district landmark status in Mid-City. However, I understand that there are funding cuts lined up for HDLC that will make that impossible. It seems to make sense the city would leverage the investments they've already made in preserving our built environment in Mid-City by funding HDLC and helping us build on the investments you've already made. Thank you.
We thank you for your comments.
Thank you. Vincent, could I just want to recognize our District Attorney Leon Canizaro, who's joined us. Leon, thank you so much for being here and for all of your tremendous work.
Kelly on Ferret Street.
Hi, my name is Kelly Grangs. I'm a board member for the newferret.com. I'd like to first commend the administration for the prompt response to every email I continually send on a daily basis. And I think that's unbelievable that I get phone calls returned and emails answered really quickly. My question was about enforcement. and it was already answered. But Ferret Street was promised a $1 million plus streetscape post-Katrina that has been slimmed down to about $500,000 over the years, which includes planting a dozen trees on the 8 blocks and repairing curbs and making ADA corners. The contract is in the final stages, and we are thrilled to move forward. I implore the administration to budget and allocate a little bit more so we can have garbage cans included in this project. We currently have 8 little garbage cans on the, or 3 garbage cans on the entire 8-block corridor. And we're just asking for something simple. They don't have to be brand new. They can be used, beat up. We'll take them. Thank you.
Thank you. Miles Trapolin, followed by Jane Trapolin, followed by Jane Murdoch, and Ms. Sandy McKnight.
Hello, I'm Miles Trapolin. I also live in Mid-City. There are 2 issues. One is, again, more code enforcement, but really what we're looking for is a beefed up law department, because the city is not levying a great deal of fines, but there's no collection or enforcement of the fines. There's a wholesale escape or bypassing safety permits in terms of getting permits, and there's no fines that are being levied and actually collected. This will help not only collect money from the city, but it will also directly affect life by forcing property owners to actually fix up their properties. Those are 2 things. The other thing is HDLC, is that what was mentioned is that there's over $1 million that's going to be invested in Mid-City to improve the exterior of houses in Mid-City. At the same time, if HDLC is cut back, then you'll have conflicting efforts by the city by improving the historic properties. At the same time, we're going to cut enforcement of the historic character of the city. The problem that you hear constantly with HDLC is that it costs money to make these improvements, and people cannot make them.
30 seconds.
If you take $1 million out of the demolition contract budget and put that to help people pay for the improvements to the historic properties, you'll get more benefit. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Jane Murdoch, Ms. Sandy McKnight,
Jane, you already gave me your 2 minutes.
and Allison McQuarrie, I believe, an attorney.
Am I ready? Many of you know me in this crowd, and I will do my best to be civil, which is why I have a script. I believe I once referred to our last mayor as an intergalactic saboteur from a universe far, far away, sent to embarrass us further. I will refrain from any such provocative comments. My 2 main issues are, besides the missing property records for 3 months and the 3 days that I spent translating for my driver guy who got picked up for an attachment for not having a fishing license, are thus. Memorial Day night, my carpenter Eric Lindgren was shot in a crosstown crime spurt on the corner of Thalia and Constance at the back of the abandoned Robles grocery store lot. I do not understand how Mark Warburton, who bought the site for $2 million, got assessed for $2 million, and thinks it's worth $5 million, and collected over $10 million in insurance money, cannot make something happen here. This site is across the street from the convention center and makes a terrible impression on our visitors. I know that you have asked more to look at it, but since they're melting down and have no money, what's the plan? We have a community plan. Talk to us. I tried to get some money from St. Etienne, who you hired and fired for giving all those loans to his relatives. He turned me down 2 years ago. I guess the money was already allocated to his cousins. Issue number 2, I have a petition of 500 people growing who want to make Magdalene Street 2 ways from Earhart to where it splits, because we have accidents. My kid almost got run over. I see pets flattened all the time. and it completely impedes economic development. There was a traffic study done under Robert Mendoza, who now has been fired for his shenanigans. Find that plan, make this happen. Keep the bus route the same way it is, and make Magazine 2 ways so we can finally make something happen down there. It looks dreadful. You leave the D-Day Museum, you go up to Magazine, and what are you passing through? Nothing but what we call in Spanish, un quilombo.
We thank you for your comment.
And thank you for your time.
Miss Sandy McKnight, followed by Allison McQuarrie. Neither one is in the house. Mr. Roy. Can't make out the last name. You had a slum landlord concern.
I know, but did he...
Oh, go ahead, miss. Go ahead, miss.
Hi, I'm Allison McCrary. I was wondering if our criminal sheriff is present with us this evening. I saw him on the description to give a presentation.
I don't know if he's here yet.
So he's not present. Our concern is about the per diem, per inmate, $23 per day that he gets paid by our city for every family and friend and loved one that we have in Orleans Parish Prison. And we ask that this per diem be abolished. We have over-incarceration and too long of sentences for our community members, and it's not solving our problems with criminal issues in our city. So we ask that that be abolished, and the Criminal Justice Working Group for the Mayor's Office has all agreed on that. And secondly, we ask for an increase in the budget for the Office of the Independent Police Monitor. They have a small staff of about 4 people to handle all investigations for our New Orleans Police Department. And with the rate of corruption and police brutality cases, they need more investigatory powers and more funding. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is Sandy McKnight in? Last call for Sandy McKnight. If not, Roy, who lives on... Roy, you have a question about a slum landlord? I think the last name begins with the letter C. Deirdre Lewis. Deirdre Lewis. Ms. Lewis will be followed by Frank Harbison.
Good evening, citizens. My name is Deirdre Lewis, and I live in the Carrollton area called Gertie Town or Gertown. I'd like to know what plans, if any, are in the works to improve the Carrollton neighborhoods such as Gertown, Pigeontown, Holly Grove, and when can we expect to see results of that? And I'd like to see a heavy concentration of African Americans who are gained economically, and I'd like to see some of the blight eradicated in Gertown. Our neighborhood still looks like Katrina the next day, and I resent that, and we're taxpayers as well. All the roads that lead to places like Earhart and Carrollton Avenue are in deplorable conditions. There are potholes that are big enough to sink trucks. And where's the economic development in this area other than a rock and roll or a fast food joint or the whatnot shop or the dollar stores? I'd like to see some action, and I'd like to see it now. Thank you.
Is Frank still here? Marilyn Johnson on Rampart Street. Marilyn? They're going to bring the microphone to you, Ms. Marilyn. And state your name for us, please.
Yes, good evening. Someone has represented senior citizens through the MCO, and I'll just, thank you all remember what she said. Thank you.
Barbara, what's her name?
Miss Elizabeth Lacoste on Curtis Drive. That's New Orleans East.
That's next week.
That's next week, Miss
Say she
Lacoste.
can go.
Sandra Reed. Sandra Reed. Or Sandra Reed.
Good afternoon, evening, night, whichever. My suggestion is really falling under the auspices of public safety, children and families, sustainable communities, and innovation. And I'd like to see that the good job that NOAA did on some continues on into the year so that there is some coordination between what NORD is doing in educating our children. One of the things that we got to do as children, and I was on Bienville Street and I was uptown on Thalia Street and I was, you know, in the communities where there was an active NORD participation, there were more than just sports. So I think that if there is some coordination between NORD and the educational outlets so that there is some active homework help, school help, someplace that children could go and get some assistance because they're going to go for the sports programming to build that in. There is another suggestion that I have that I think that would maybe help to create jobs, but it depends on what your budget is doing. That also affects blight, is that parks and parkways to hire some kind of, some team of people to actually cut the grass and clean up the lots and move the furniture that's on the city streets and then build the actual homeowner because you have the information about where it is. There is economic development that's necessary and jobs that people need to have. And so I think that'd be a good opportunity.
Thank you.
We're going to call Mr. Scott Howard up. And Mr. Mayor, after Mr. Scott Howard speaks, there's going to give us approximately 30 minutes remaining for you to go ahead and respond to these questions. And we're starting to lose a lot of our citizens, so we may have to make a decision to move to the next phase. Mr. Howard.
Thank you. I have an old-fashioned and selfish question about our street. I noticed in the priorities, there was nothing for infrastructure, which surprised me. Now, maybe infrastructure falls under sustainable communities, I don't know. But I guess I'm curious to know if streets are really a priority. It's delightful that Magazine Street is being improved. But our corner at 8th and Camp is crumbling. And it's, literally, they have streets in Afghanistan and Lagos that look better than this. And there's no sidewalk, so the cars park jammed up against a long fence along the side of Camp Street. And it really needs to be fixed. It's a terrible hazard, and I think it would be great if you would add that to your priorities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Howard.